Listen. If she's not interested, you can't sweet talk her into missing you. You can't text your way into desire. You can't nice guy your way into her heart. But there is something you can do, something subtle, unexpected, powerful. And when you do it right, she'll find herself thinking about you when she least expects it, even when she swore she never would. 1. The painful truth. Picture this. You text her and she takes hours to reply. When you ask her out, she's busy. When she does talk, the words sound flat, like you're talking about the weather. And the more effort you put in, sending long messages, trying to be sweeter, the colder she gets. Here's the brutal truth. Everything you've been taught about attracting a woman who isn't interested is wrong. The harder you try, the more you prove her right, that she doesn't need to give you romantic attention. Because in her mind, you are always there. Your attention costs nothing. And in a world where men are fighting for her likes and views, you've become just another notification, background noise. 2. Why she doesn't miss you. Human beings are drawn not to what is constant, but to what interrupts the ordinary. We notice contrast. We long for the rare. And when your attention flows endlessly, when it arrives every morning and lingers every night, it loses its weight. She doesn't miss you, not because you lack worth, but because nothing about your presence distinguishes you from the countless others already filling her world. Picture Times Square at night. Giant screens shout in neon, advertisements roar in color, 1,000 voices compete to be heard. And yet, most people pass through without really seeing. Their eyes glaze over, their minds numb to the flood. Then on a corner, a violin begins to play. One melody, tender and piercing, rises above the chaos. People stop. They listen. Why? Because it breaks the pattern. It offers a moment of difference in a place drowning in sameness. That is the essence of attraction. You cannot be another glowing sign she ignores. You must become the unexpected note, the rare sound that lingers in her memory. Not by shouting louder, but by stepping into silence at the right moment and letting her notice what's missing. 3. The first move. Disappear with purpose. So, how do you make her miss you? Paradoxically, it begins with absence. Not a dramatic announcement. Not blocking her in anger. Just a quiet withdrawal. No more constant texts. No more instant replies. No more likes on her Instagram story. In today's digital age, disappearing online is often louder than disappearing in real life. Her brain notices the silence, the unfinished pattern, the sudden gap where your attention used to be. That's when curiosity begins. But here's where most men fail. They disappear, but then sit alone, sulking, refreshing her profile. That's not attractive. Your absence must be full. Build a life so vivid, so textured, that she feels the missing piece, not because you begged for her to notice, but because the contrast is undeniable. If what I'm saying feels real, if it's touching something you've lived through, pause for a second. Hit the like button. Not for me, but for you. Because every time you choose to learn instead of chase, you're proving to yourself that you're ready for more. And what's coming next will change the way you see everything. 4. Example: the man who stepped back. Think of Michael in Austin. For months he lingered on the edges of a woman's life, waiting for scraps of attention. She laughed at his jokes when it suited her, answered his messages when she had time, and kept him in the comfortable role of just in case. He told himself patience would win her heart, but deep down he felt the quiet ache of being taken for granted. Then something shifted. Not out of bitterness, but out of respect for himself, Michael stepped back. He stopped hovering around her world and started living inside his own. He joined a hiking group that explored the Colorado trails, waking to crisp mountain air and the burn of strong legs carrying him higher. He posted pictures, not for her but for himself, of sunsets spilling across wide American skies, of campfires glowing against the night. He laughed with new friends, his smile unforced, his energy different. And weeks later, her message arrived. "Hey, stranger." Not because he asked for it, not because he begged, but because the man she thought she had neatly defined had changed. He was no longer predictable. He was mystery again. And mystery, when it returns, has a way of igniting desire. 5. Social proof and memory triggers. Once you've stepped back, the next layer is what psychologists call social proof. It's the quiet evidence that your life is moving forward without her, not in bitterness, but in fullness. Share the pieces of that life, not curated, not posed, but lived. A long table with friends, laughter spilling over plates of barbecue. A Saturday morning pickup game where sweat and grit leave you smiling. A weekend road trip where the horizon feels endless. These are not performances, they are windows into a man engaged with the world. And yes, sometimes that includes other women. Not in staged selfies or forced poses, but in the natural flow of life, faces in the crowd, laughter in a group. Authentic presence carries more weight than contrived displays because it whispers, "He belongs to something bigger than me." Then there are the quieter threads, memory triggers. The favorite band you discovered together in college. The little coffee shop in Boston where the hours slipped away in laughter. When she hears that melody on the radio or passes by that cafe, you return, not as a choice she dismissed, but as a ghost of something unfinished. This isn't manipulation. It's memory. We don't miss those who smother us. We miss the ones who leave echoes that time cannot erase. 6. Timing your return. Timing is everything. You don't reappear after 2 restless nights or the moment her absence feels unbearable. You wait weeks, not days, long enough for silence to carve its shape into her world. And when you return, it is not with apologies, not with the trembling words of a man hoping to be let back in. It is with the quiet certainty of someone who has been living fully. You come back different. Your shoulders carry a new ease. Your eyes hold a steadiness born of discipline, of mornings at the gym, of evenings spent in real conversation with people who inspire you. There is focus now, a gravity she can sense even before you speak. And she notices. She hears it in the calm of your voice, in the pauses where you no longer rush to fill the silence, in the simple weight of your presence. What once felt predictable now feels charged. Curiosity stirs unbidden. Because in the space you created, she began to wonder. And when you return not as the man who waited, but as the man who grew, indifference cannot hold. It melts into intrigue, and intrigue is the spark that lights everything else. No 7, beyond her, the deeper truth. Let's be clear, this was never only about making her miss you. It runs deeper. It's about becoming the kind of man whose presence lingers long after he's gone. A man with roots, with vision, with a life so textured and alive that it does not collapse because one woman turned away. In cities like New York, Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, you'll find women who remember. Not the men who pleaded for attention, not the ones who clung with desperation, but the rare few who carried themselves with quiet certainty. Men who walked into a room with a sense of direction, who lived with a spark that could not be dimmed by neglect. They are remembered because they gave more than attention. They gave meaning. They lived fully, whether loved or ignored, and in that fullness they became unforgettable. Closing punchline. So remember this, you don't make her miss you by filling her world. You make her miss you by stepping out of it, leaving a space only you can fill. Because when you stop chasing, you don't just gain her attention. You gain your power. And a man with power is unforgettable. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment with the word power if you're ready to stop chasing and start living as a man she'll never forget. Your story might be the one that helps another man take his first step. And if you felt this message in your bones, hit subscribe. Join a brotherhood of men who are done begging for attention and who are ready to build a life so strong it pulls respect without asking. Remember, women may miss you or they may not. But the man you're becoming? He'll never go unnoticed.